What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Excuse me. Now, before we get started with this week's first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh's biggest issue of the new year, just want to give you guys a reminder that we are now 219 subs away from hitting 500 subs, and I know that a lot of you guys are new to the channel because practically 100% of you guys are watching the content, but you guys are not even subscribed. So if you guys are watching the content, you like the content, and you want more of the content, but you guys have not subscribed as of yet, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button on this video, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. Excuse me, it will also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which technically ties with this week's episode, but the question of the day is this: what deck are you guys looking forward to seeing the most in 2025? Let me know down in the comments below. And for this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about the top 5 decks to look out for in 2025. Now, here's the interesting thing. 2024, there were some incredible decks that came into the format for 2024. We had Yu-Gi-Oh, we had Snake Eye Rescue Ace. We had Ryziel. Literally at the last YCS that we had, what was it, last month? Last month, Ryziel literally damn near overtook the meta, which is absolutely insane. But the question is now, what decks can we expect to see in 2025? Well, let's get straight to it. Kicking things off with the first deck is none other than Blue Eyes. The Blue Eyes structure deck will be released, I believe, next month, interestingly enough. And what's cool about the new Blue Eyes, about the new structure deck is that this gives us exactly what we were expecting to see when the first iteration of the support came in the saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon structure that came out all the way back in 2015, if I remember correctly. Because if you guys remember, the saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon structure deck gave us some new Blue Eyes tuner monsters, which a lot of them really didn't do a whole lot. I think like the only card that did anything in terms of like the meta was Maiden with Eyes of Blue, because you could just like negate attacks, switch her into defense, and then special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon just right off the bat, which is pretty cool. But that was just it. That was just it, you know. Obviously, yes, we did get a good amount of support for Blue Eyes in Shining Victories that came out back in 2016. But the problem was that once we got the Dark Side of Dimensions movie pack, and we got Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon and Chaos Form and Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon and all that. Yes, the deck was pretty good, but it just kept on breaking. And I think with the new Xyz monster, with the new Synchro, the new Link monster, and the new tuners and shit that are in this brand new structure deck, I truly believe that we could end up seeing probably one of the best forms of the deck we had ever seen. Like, I can honestly say that this version of the Blue Eyes deck might just end up being one of the most I wouldn't say the most dangerous, but I would probably say one of the most broken iterations of the Blue Eyes deck we had ever seen in a very long time. So that's definitely one deck to look out for. The second deck is Evil Heroes. The interesting thing about this is that we just got brand new support for them in Supreme Darkness, and interestingly enough, we actually have another new card for the Evil Heroes, which will be released in Alliance Insight. But I'll be talking about that in a future video. I don't know if it'll be in tomorrow's video, in Sunday's video. I'm not entirely sure, because there's still a lot of other cards for Alliance Insight to bring up, including some new Eldritch support. A couple of new fusions and whatnot. So there's still a lot to bring up. Even also some new Serpent Knight Dragon, some new retrain cards, if you will, for a couple of new cards, for a couple old cards. Spoiler: one of them was obviously Serpent Knight Dragon. So interestingly enough, with the new Evil Hero support, you can literally take all the cards from that one portion of the hero series, if you will, build a deck, and that's your deck. You can literally take, you can literally do three Stratos, 2 Solid Soldier, 2 Liquid Soldier, and you can literally use Mass Change on a 4-star Evil Hero and automatically make Darklaw. Literally, just right off the bat. Right off the bat, you can make Darklaw, which Darklaw is still to this day one of the most broken cards in the format, just because of the fact that it's basically Macrocosmos for your opponent, and anytime they add cards to their hand, you can just rip a card out of their hand, and that's pretty much it. So hypothetically speaking, Evil Hero can probably be the best deck of 2025. Once, not just once we get Supreme Darkness, but once we get Alliance Insight in the TCG, Evil Hero is definitely going to be making its way into the meta. In fact, I think Alliance Insight, is supposed to be released in April, if I remember correctly, for the TCG. So by the time, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Events. Here we are. So I'm trying to think. By the time we get to the release of Alliance Insight, I believe the YCS in Mexico City should be around. So I want to take a look. Let's see. Alliance Insight Yu-Gi-Oh! I believe Alliance Insight TCG is supposed to be released in... if I remember correctly, May 2nd. Okay, so potentially, oh my god, there were rumors that there's gonna be I think Nationals, if I remember correctly. Is it Nationals? World qualifier. I want to see about that. 2024, no. Regional, national qualifiers, maybe. Okay, so by the time we get Alliance Insight, we are supposed. I believe I believe Nationals. I believe Nationals is supposed to be around. So, interestingly enough, I'm actually curious about what to expect from Alliance Insight, because again the new Evil Hero card will be released. So by the time Nationals comes around, Evil Heroes could end up being like one of the best decks in the excuse me. It could end up being one of the best decks in the format, which is 100% possible. But again, it all depends on how it gets built, and knowing guys like Team Samurai X1 and guys like what's the other guy? Nim is it, or is it MBT? It's one or the other, or it could be someone else. But knowing Sam, he'll probably make Evil Heroes like the best deck in the format potentially. But now we move into the third deck, which, interestingly enough, is probably the most obvious, and that is Ryziel. Obviously, last month Ryziel at the YCS last month, I think in Anaheim or something like that. Ryziel dominated. Ryziel dominated the meta completely and practically took over the meta. And I've been hearing rumors that we're supposed to be getting new Ryziel support, I think in the next 7 months, I want to say. And so by the time we get to a future YCS, like potentially in the summer, or maybe or maybe once we get to Worlds, which I believe this year's Worlds, I believe. Okay, never mind. So I believe I've been hearing rumors that this year's Worlds, 2025 Worlds, is supposed to take place in Montreal. I don't know if any of the rumors are true. Obviously Konami will make an announcement on social media at some point regarding Worlds. But by the time we do get to Worlds, potentially that new Ryziel support will be around, and the deck will just become even more stronger than it's ever been before. So that's definitely one deck to look out for. But speaking of crossover breakers, I think it's the set. Yeah. So speaking of crossover breakers, the fourth deck I actually believe that the world should look out for is none other than the Malice none other than the Malice deck. Interestingly enough, Malice is actually a very viable deck. From what I had seen in like a couple of posts on social media, apparently Malice is definitely going to be one to look out for. And I would say the Snake Eye deck is definitely another one to look out for. But with the deck completely nerfed to where I think Poplar's banned and Ash is at 1. I want to say Yu-Gi-Oh. Here we are, Yu-Gi-Oh ban list. I want to check out the ban list, because if I remember correctly, both Poplar and Ash are at 1, if my memory serves right. Yeah, so with Poplar and Ash both at 1, the deck is literally nerfed, and there's really no conceivable way to make Snake Eye powerful again, unless if they brought Poplar and Ash back to 3. then the deck is still strong. But Malice, on the other hand, if we get some new support in time for Worlds, then Malice can definitely become one of those decks that can definitely make its way into the meta, and it can definitely creep into tier 0 contention, which is going to be very nasty to see. But speaking of tier 0, the last deck to look out for, and it's probably the most obvious, and I'm actually tempted to build them just because of how broken the new cards are, and that is Dragon Ruler. Obviously, I think in Alliance Insight, I think it's the set, we got some brand new Dragon Ruler support, and it's it's interesting because you look at the Dragon Rulers, and back in the day in 2014, Dragon Ruler was like the biggest deck to ever play. Like if you were to go to a YCS in 2014, go to Nationals or whatever, and you were sitting face to face with your opponent, it was either Dragon Ruler or bust. And 9 times out of 10, you were playing Dragon Ruler in 2014. The new support that we got for Dragon Rulers, I truly believe is going to overpower the meta. And I think because that the deck was way before its time, I guess if you will, I feel like now the deck can really can now truly shine and show the world, what the deck can actually do. And who knows, maybe we might see Dragon Ruler top Worlds this year or something like that. Who knows? But those are the 5 decks to definitely to look out for in 2025. I can honestly say that this year we're going to be in for one hell of a ride when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Not just in terms of the upcoming booster sets and the structure decks and all that, but in terms of the YCSs, Nationals, Regionals, Worlds, UDS, all that. We are going to be in for one hell of a ride. And I'm very curious as to what decks are truly going to make their way into the meta in 2025. So with that being said, that will do it for this week's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue in the future, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.